Hey A&Pers, this is Dr. Jones checking in. This is A&P II Lab 2 video. I think we're on 6. So we are midway through the wire person. We started with the heart and did the arteries of the head and neck. So now we're going to pass the diaphragm, D-I-A-P-H-R-A-G-M, you got it? And so everything south of the diaphragm will be the abdominal aorta. And the first branch off of the abdominal aorta is right here. It is the celiac trunk, and that's spelled like celiac, like gluten-free celiac. And the celiac trunk is an unpaired artery, and so there's not a left or a right, there's just one. And it has, we don't have a spleen. It has 3 branches, the splenic artery, which goes to our missing spleen right here. And this little tiny loop, I can't find it through the camera, so let's look and then put the camera on it. This little tiny loop of red is the gastric artery. And then this is the common hepatic artery. And if you follow those red arteries up, they go into the liver. And the term for liver is hepatic. And you can see the liver colored organ is the liver, and then of course the gallbladder. Okay, then we have the left and right renal arteries, which go to the kidneys. The term for kidney is renal. So this will be the right renal artery, and then the left renal artery. And next you have this, which is the superior mesenteric artery, which sticks straight out, and the inferior mesenteric artery, which comes off of the abdominal aorta further down. Now we need to find the little gonadal arteries. Oh, there they are. See them? There's 2 of them, left and right. Those little bitty teensy weensy ones. Yep, little bitty teensy weensy gonadal arteries, and those come out way up there and go to your gonads, whether you have ovaries or testes. The gonadal arteries are the same. Okay, so it's going to continue to be the abdominal aorta until it splits right here. So it's abdominal aorta from the diaphragm down to the split. Once it splits, it gets 2 new names. We become the left and right common iliac artery. Iliac like the bone. So the left and right common iliac artery. Now, like the common carotid artery, we're going to split into an internal and an external. So we're going to lose the name common as soon as we split. So this is the left common iliac artery, and then it splits into the left internal iliac artery and the left external iliac artery, and the right common iliac artery until the split, and then it becomes the right internal iliac artery and the right external iliac artery. Now the external iliac term will continue until it goes about the pipe cleaner, about the zip tie, sorry. So then it will be running down the leg next to the femur, so this will be the femoral artery. And then an inch or 2 above the split here, it runs behind the knee. And what's the term for behind the knee? You got it, popliteal. So this part that comes off towards the front, this first branch, and it loses the popliteal name as soon as it splits here. So this anterior branch goes in front of the tibia. So this is the anterior tibial artery. And this branch behind it is the posterior tibial artery because it goes behind the tibia. Now branching laterally off the posterior tibial is the fibular artery. So let's review how to spell tibia here. Tibia is T-I-B-I-A. So tibial is T-I-B-I-A-L, tibial artery, anterior tibial, posterior tibial. But this artery runs next to a different bone. It runs next to the lateral fibula. Get it? Fibula is lateral. So this is the fibular artery, F-I-B-U-L-A-R. So that spelling there is going to make all the difference between tibial and fibular. And then these will come together. We have another anastomosis. I believe I gave you that term on the last video. I'll show you the spelling of that again. An anastomosis is where you have a duplicate blood supply to a region. And here, actually on this one, you can see the dorsal arch and the plantar arch. Most of these are so mangled that we're just using the dorsal arch and calling it good. If you're taking my lab test, then you need to add digital arteries for these arteries that run down either side of the toes. Okay, well that's only 5 minutes in, and I don't mix arteries and veins, so let me move to the model I call Flat Stanley, and we'll do all the arteries. Start all over again. So here on Flat Stanley, you can see his heart, and then we have the aorta. The first branch off of the aorta is the brachiocephalic trunk. It splits into the right subclavian artery and the right common carotid artery. The second branch off of the aortic arch is the left common carotid artery, and you can see here the left external carotid artery. You can maybe see the internal goes up there, but that's not a good place to tag it for a test. And then this third branch is the left subclavian artery, and here you can see it's in the armpit, so this will be the axillary artery, and then the brachial artery, and then you can see the split where it goes laterally to become the radial artery and medial to become the ulnar artery. And here the hand is supinated, so the radius and the ulna are crossed, but you still have the palmar arch and the digital arteries. So let's see if we can see that a little better on this side. We've got the subclavian artery, the axillary artery, the brachial artery, and then laterally is the radial artery. Remember, the radius bone is on the thumb side, and the ulnar artery, which is on the pinky side. Palmar arch, digital arteries down the sides of the fingers. So moving back up, we will pick up, here's the diaphragm. So this is the abdominal aorta. The first branch off of the abdominal aorta will be the celiac trunk. Here's your splenic artery, and this is your spleen. And this loop will be the gastric artery, your tiny little gastric artery, but cut and smushed. And then this is your common hepatic artery that brings fresh oxygenated blood to the liver. Next, you'll have the left and right renal arteries that go to the left and right kidneys, and then the left and right gonadal arteries. That stub right there, the paint has been scratched off, but that's a red stub, so that's the superior mesenteric artery, the inferior mesenteric artery. And let's continue down the legs. Sorry, I've got a finger in front of the camera. Okay, so it's the abdominal artery until it splits, and then it picks up two different names. It's the left and right common iliac artery, because what's this bone here? It's the ilium, I-L-I-A-C. So this is the iliac artery, I-L-I-A-C, common iliac. And just like up here where the common split into an internal and an external, it's the common until it splits and then it loses the common name. Now this is the left internal iliac artery and the left external iliac artery. The right internal iliac artery, the right external iliac artery. And then once it goes through and goes next to the femur, then it becomes the femoral artery. When it's behind the knee, it's the popliteal artery. And then this one that'll come out to the front of the tibia will be the anterior tibial. Behind that's the posterior tibial, and probably that one's the fibular. Let's see down here. On this one we can see a dorsal arch, and of course the digital arteries that go down the sides of the toes. Okay, so those are the arteries on the Flat Stanley model. This has been A&P II Lab 2 video, I don't know, I think we're on 6, but we'll come back and do veins on the next video. Thanks as always for tuning in. Education must go on. Dr. J out.